Going. Okay, I'm recording now, so don't say anything naughty because the recording is on. You guys should be able to see my screen in a second. Should say welcome to CRP. Just tell
Yeah.
me when you can see it so I know we're good. Okay,
You're good.
Yeah,
excellent.
good.
Okay, so here we are, first class, and thanks for coming. I think we had a really good class. I think we got a lot out of it. Actually, I always do that hoping somebody's going to like come in just at that moment. And it's happened like once or twice, and it's really funny because then the rest of the class always joins in and goes, "Oh yeah, that was a great class. Thank you. That was terrific." So, no, didn't catch anyone this time. Uh, okay, about me. As I said, I was born and bred in New Jersey. So right now
Really
I'm
good.
talking very quietly and very slowly. I get a lot louder and a lot faster, and that's just normal for me. If you find that I'm doing it, you have my permission to shout naughty words or type naughty words in the chat box because I don't realize I'm doing it. Because from up north, that's how we talk in New Jersey area. Now, where was everyone from again? I think you said I heard Minnesota. I think.
New Jersey,
Oh, where are you in
Yeah.
Jersey?
Burlington County.
Oh, you're South Jersey. You're Pennsylvania to us. So we got New Jersey.
She's I'm from Pasadena, California.
Oh man, my mic stinks. Can you type it in the chat box because I am having so much trouble hearing people. Oh, Virginia. Okay, I think I've heard of Virginia. It's one of those states down there. Okay, so we got Virginia, New Jersey. And yeah, if you want to just type it in the chat box, that'd be good because my speaker's just like doing horrible things right now. Anyway, while you you live in Vegas? Excuse me. Here, put $20 on black for me. Oh, that's cool to live in Vegas. I heard it's actually really beautiful out there. Very dry, but I have a friend who lives in Arizona, and I was thinking of moving out there. And I said, so tell me, do you see scorpions and tarantulas? He's like, oh yeah, you come home, you see a tarantula on the wall. I'm like, done, not moving. I'm not coming home and walking into a tarantula. So let's see. My background, I like pool and bowling, the sport of kings. I used to do improv in New York City. I don't know if anyone ever heard of the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? Have you guys ever heard of that show?
Yes.
Yeah, it was nothing like that. I'm just curious if you heard of the show. Now, I used to do what was called long form improv. I trained with at Amy Poehler's theater, the Upright Citizens Brigade. It's funny. She came to perform for our class once. She's like 2 feet tall. She's like minute. Her and Rachel Dratch from Saturday Night Live. She was Debbie Downer. They both performed for us, and I think combined they're not even a full person. And it was funny at the end of the performance, Rachel Dratch is on the phone. I'm leaving, and she's like, "Yes, Tina, I'm coming." And I'm like, "Oh my God, she's talking to Tina Fey." So it was really a cool experience. But part of that is my amazing ability, right here, to make people rich and famous. If you want to become rich and famous, what you have to do is never talk to me again. I see fame comes at me so quickly it misses me and hits the people around me. I'll give you an example. I used to do improv with a guy. His name was Andy Milanakis. You might not recognize the name. Some people do actually. But if you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know him." When he has the same disease Gary Coleman had, so he looks like he's 12. The first time I met him, he was outside the theater cursing, drinking, grabbing anyone who walked by. It was midnight. I'm like, what kind of person lets their 12-year-old do this? Meanwhile, he was 20, like 28 or something. So I stopped talking to him. He's doing pretty well. I'm related to a guy on, I don't know if you ever heard of the show. It's called Seinfeld. Anyone ever hear that show? You might have. It
Yeah.
was on a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a hint. I'm bald. Who am I related to? One of the four main ones. Don't tell me the show's that old. Nobody wants to
Fun.
guess?
Okay. Oh my God.
You guys know him as Jason Alexander. He's my cousin. His name is J. Scott Greenspan. Yeah, George. Um,
Yes. There we go.
Back in '87, I stopped talking to that side of the family, and boom, did pretty well for himself. Have you guys heard? Do you ever hear the movie Hugo? Came out like a year or so ago. It was a Martin Scorsese film. The guy who wrote the book for Hugo was a good friend of mine in high school. Stopped talking to him. Another one from high school I stopped talking to. He's like a multi-billionaire now. He runs a humongous corporation. He like hobnobs with presidential candidates. So If you want to become rich and famous, don't ever talk to me again. It seems to work out well for people. That's why I have no friends. I'm a storehouse of useless trivia. I can't remember my calculus to save my life, but I can tell you all Six Stooges. It's really sad. Other things, I can be bribed. I'm running a special this month. Buy 1 point, get 1 point absolutely free. I think that's a really good deal. I think I'm going to set up a PayPal. Chocolate works great. Not dark chocolate. You give me dark chocolate, I'm going to fail you because dark chocolate's evil. It's a tool of the devil. Ugh. That's like mint chocolate. Ugh, who comes up with these crazy things? I remember I saw the worst candy bar ever, and I wanted to burn the place down. It was a Three Musketeers bar, dark chocolate mint fluff inside. I'm like, when an evil person came up with this. Horrible.
Didn't turn out that bad. I had one of those. It's cookie inside.
Okay, you just failed. You just completely failed the course because those are disgusting. Dark chocolate. Chocolate should be milk chocolate, maybe white chocolate. Okay, here's my info. This is my extension right here, 4149. Here's my cell. You're welcome to call it. Now, I have 2 cell phone numbers. One I use specifically for Full Sail, and that's the one you got to call me on because Full Sail likes to keep track in case something happens. But that phone does a really weird thing. Whoops. I wish I would stop doing that. It does a really weird thing. You might call me, and you get the machine. Sometimes you don't. I pick up the phone a lot. Like, I'd say 70% of the time I pick it up. But let's say I miss it, and the machine kicks in. You could be leaving a message, and as you're leaving the message, all of a sudden a 908 area code is calling you. That's me. I'm calling you from my other phone. When the 407 number picks up, there's time. It like cuts out. I can't call out from it for like hours on end. It's a really weird thing, and I'm not fixing it. Let Full Sail fix it. So if you call the 407 number and you get a call either 2 seconds later or 10 minutes later or whatever from a 908 area code, that's me. Okay? That's my New Jersey number. It's not one of those stupid codes like 609 or something.
Oh, you're from the Brunswicks.
Yeah, you got it. I went to school at Rutgers, and I lived in East Brunswick. So
I work in East Brunswick.
I'm from Central Jersey. Like I said, Burlington, that's like Pennsylvania to us.
Yeah.
There's my email. Now my chat.
I have cousins in Jersey.
What was that?
I have cousins in Jersey.
Oh yeah, where?
I'm not really sure. They were like super close to New York. I've never been up there, so.
Oh, close. Okay, I know that area. I can kind of gather. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but if you ask them what exit they're from, that would tell me.
Oh, okay.
It's. I hate to say it's a true thing. When someone says, "Oh, you're from Jersey, what exit?" It's kind of true. We can tell based on the exit. My chat doesn't seem to work right on this computer. There's been times people have called me and said, "You haven't been on all day," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was on all day. I'm still on right now." It'll tell you I'm not on when I'm on. It'll tell you I'm on when I'm not on, vice versa. It's crazy. I wouldn't even bother with chat. Call my cell. That's why I give you the number. Oh, also, keep it reasonable time-wise. Supposedly, I have 2 kids. I say supposedly because my wife always had friends over, staying over. She hates when I say that. I'm at home right now. She's giving me the evil eye. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. No, I'm in the top 5. We're doing DNA testing. I'm really hoping. So, keeping it, one of them doesn't look anything like me. No, I have 2. I have an 8 and a 6-year-old. So, don't call it midnight. Actually, they're probably up. I'm probably asleep. I don't know where kids get this energy from. Okay, policy info. There's a time difference. I think out in Vegas, are you 2 hours or 3 hours different from us on the East Coast? Are you Mountain Time? I think you're 2 hours. 3? Okay, 3. So remember the time difference. If something is, you're Pacific. Yeah, that would make sense. I always thought you were 2 hours Mountain. Okay, so it goes by Eastern Standard Time. That's where Full Sail is. So you have to go by that. So if it says it's due at midnight, for you guys out on the West Coast, it's due at 9. Sorry. Do you think you can email me your work if you miss the deadline? What do you think? Yay or nay?
No.
No, you cannot. I can reopen most assignments, so that's not a problem. I'm more than happy to do it for you. I'm not allowed to accept email because Full Sail needs to have, in essence, a paper trail. If you email it to me and I accepted it, Maybe you email it again and I don't get something, and then you claim, oh no, I emailed it. Look, I can show you I emailed it. Yeah, but I didn't get it, and I can't prove that you sent it to me. So it has to go through FSO. I can't accept anything through email. I just can't. I wish I could, but we'll talk about that now. Discussion boards, I cannot reopen them. If you're late on a discussion board when it's completely done, usually they completely close on Sunday. Like, for example, you're supposed to do the first one by Wednesday. Today, if you get it in on Thursday, that's fine. I'm not going to complain. Even Friday is fine. But it closes on Sunday. Once it closes, it's gone. I can't open it. They don't give me that ability. Now, assignments. Assignments, I'm supposed to give you 3 days, and I'm supposed to take 10% off per day. But once again, remember, I can be bribed, so we can work on that. Now, let's say, honestly, I'm not a ball buster. If it was up to me, I'd give you all hundreds right now and we just do the work, because I hate grading. But let's say the assignment is due Sunday. Let's say something's due this Sunday, which I think it is. And today is Wednesday, and you look at your calendar and you're like, oh no, the Venusians are coming on Sunday to probe me. I'll never get it done in time. That happens to all of us. The Venusians come, they probe you. Right about now, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? And if the Venusians don't probe you, then the government got to you. I'm just kidding. Obviously, they don't come. No, actually, I'm not scheduled for a while for my probing. So let's say you know you're not going to make it for this Sunday for one reason or another. Just contact me. I'm happy to work it out with you. I don't have a problem with that. Now, let's say it's Sunday night, and I don't know, the Martians are coming to probe you, and they came out of nowhere. On Monday, say something to me. Don't wait a whole nother week and go, oh yeah, I couldn't turn something in last Sunday because the Martians came. You know, just be honest. I've had people on Monday morning, send me an email saying, look, I fell asleep. I'm like, it's okay. Everyone has a life. Maybe I don't, but everyone else does. You don't have to lie to me. If you fell asleep or you just forgot to turn it in, fine. I can reopen it for you. Like I said, I'm not here to fail you. I don't want to fail you. Except for one person. There's only one person, and I pick one person in each class to fail just because I don't like them. I'm not going to say who, because it'd be wrong to point Catherine out like that, so I won't do that. Don't you worry at all. Now, honestly, if it's up to me, I'd give you all hundreds. So I'm happy to work with you. If you send me an email that says, I have a doctor's appointment, okay, I'm going to believe you. Whatever you send me, I'm telling you right now, the first email you send me, I will automatically believe you. You don't have to lie to me. Just don't take advantage of that. I remember, this is like about 2 years ago, I helped another group out. I wasn't their teacher. I helped them out. And I did their month 2 and their month, I think it was 10. I had a student come in their month 2. His grandmother passed away. I felt really bad for him. I'm like, that's really sorry. You know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. When month 10 came around for him, I was filling in for somebody there, so that other teacher's name was on it. And lo and behold, this guy's grandmother passed away again. I'm like, wow, what are the odds that his grandmother passed away again? Well, as it turned out, I talked to some of the other teachers. His grandmother passed away like 5 times. I'm like, damn, she keeps coming back to life just to pass away again? That's crazy talk. So it'll catch up to you. So you don't have to lie to me. Like I said, you could tell me you fell asleep. That's fine. I'm not going to take points off if I don't have to. Now, if you abuse it, then yes, I have to take the points off. If every assignment's coming in late, the admins are going to see that, and then I have to take points off. We don't want them to notice anything. That's the best way to say it. Okay, grading. Your comments, I do not have a bank of comments anywhere. I do not copy and paste my comments from a whole list. Every comment I give is completely new, and it's individualized, so you'll know I read your stuff. Let's say you get amazing comments, and you look at your grade and it's a 10. You're like, what the hell? Why did I get a 10? Let me just say, don't come at me in an email with guns blazing, calling me every name in the book, because we're going to talk about professionalism. What do you think probably happened? If you have amazing comments and you got a 10, I probably missed typing the other 0, and you got 100. All you got to do is say, hey, Andy, I got a 10. Did you mean 100 on this one? Because you gave me good comments. I'll be like, oh, yeah, I did. Sorry. And I'll fix it. Now, let's say you call me early and say, this Sunday I can't get this thing turned in. But all of a sudden a 0 pops in your grade. If it's an assignment, FSO does this weird thing every so often. It happens like once every 2 months. It'll grade itself. If it doesn't see something, the system goes wacky sometimes and puts zeros in for it. Don't panic. I can always fix that. So don't worry about it. Okay, professionalism. I was just talking about this. Professionalism does not get graded until the bitter end. Reason being is we want you to become professionals. If you work at a company and you send your boss a nasty email calling him or her every name in the book, you're not working for them anymore. That's not a professional thing to do. One of the worst professionalism things is that people, when they type emails, don't type a capital I. They type a lowercase I. That's not professional. Now, I don't take points off for professionalism unless you really push it. I've only had to do it once, ever. My goal, my job, what I'd like to do is just point it out to you. Like last month, I had a guy, every email was capitalized. So I kept writing him back saying, why are you yelling at me? I wasn't nasty. I'm like, why are you yelling? That's not nice. He goes, I'm not yelling. I'm just typing. I'm like, no, capital letters means you're yelling at me. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. So he didn't know. I didn't take points off because he didn't know. I'd rather not take points off unless you are just not listening. Like I said, I've only had to do it once where somebody was nasty to other students. One of the assignments was you have to help other students with something, and this person wrote to me, I'm not helping anybody else. They're beneath me. And that was like the last straw. I'm like, I can't let this go. So I had to ding them. But for the most part, just, be professional. If, like, for example, grades. Let's say you get an 80 on something, and you look at it and you go, wait, he took 10 points off, and I got a 90. I did this. Just write me an email and say, hey, Andy, I think you might have goofed on this one. I did do this. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I completely missed it. I have a lot of students. Sometimes I miss grading something. And the flip side of that is, if I give you like a 90, and you look at it and you go, wow, he gave me points for this, and I didn't even do that part. Don't tell me. If you tell me, hey, you were supposed to take 10 points off, guess what? I'm taking 10 points off. Because the admins are probably going to know that. They check our emails. So if the grade is in your favor, be quiet. Don't say anything. If I goof up and you needed more points, just send me a nice email. I'll look at it again. You're probably right. I've made mistakes. Virtual meetings. Do you have to come to them all? Once a week, you're supposed to come to these lab sessions. But if you can't, just watch the archive. Grades take about a day to a week. If I miss something, just ask. It's possible. I do not look at the assignment until it closes. I used to grade these the minute they came in. But what happened was I was finding out people were kind of telling each other what to do. And I didn't think that was fair to the people who turned it in early. So what I do, let's say the assignment's due on Sunday. You handed it in on Tuesday, though, early. On Wednesday, don't send me an email saying, hey, how did I do? Because I'm going to write back and go, I have no clue. I didn't look at it. I won't look at it until after it closes. Then I'll start looking at it. And it's a flexible class. But if it says you have to use a particular product, I don't think any of them do. But just in case it said you must use iMovie, then you must use iMovie. That's all. It's flexible. Okay, any questions about the administrative stuff? I just got that out of the way as quick as I could. You're supposed to cheer. You're supposed to go, yeah, woo!
Woo!
There we go. Someone's getting an A now. Someone said woo. By the way, my screen's a little different than yours. Can you see the entire screen? Because if I move this over like this, I can't see the word creative anymore. I see the word TIV. Is that good? Can you see that?
See the whole...
That's okay right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like I said, my screen, it works a little different.
We can move it around on ours too.
Okay. It's just that, like I said, there's on my screen, I have the go-to control panel. So if I try to play this or move this over, I can't see the screen. Okay, so let's go on here. There we go. Where I went over that. Who am I? I know these people. I think it's so funny. He's got the cheesiest grin. What we expect from you guys, and they flip-flop these. Remember, there's never a dumb question. There really isn't. Just remember, we're an online class, but I'll guarantee you, if you ask a question and you're like, well, this is really stupid, I shouldn't ask it. I bet there's 50% of the other people have the exact same question. So ask. Now, I had nothing to do with some of these slides, so if they feel real rah-rah and all that, it's not me. I'm not that kind of person. I'm real down to earth. You get what you put into it. Yeah, if you don't put a lot of work into it, you're not going to do too well. I love this line. It's not that you can't, it's that you choose not to. I think they're silly with that. Now, we're always here. If you need help, I gave you my cell phone number. Call it. I've had people call me on weekends. That's fine. I mean, I prefer you don't, but if you really need to, call me. I always give feedback. Like I said, all my feedback is unique. I do not have a bank of comments. By the way, copyrighted material. When you use material and other things, if you steal something off the internet, just, cite it. Just tell me where you got it from. Don't start getting into the habit of stealing stuff, because believe it or not, people will track you down. I remember I taught a class back in 2000, a web design class, and I still have the website up. I don't know why it's still up. But about 3 months ago, I got an email from some lawyer. I don't think it was a lawyer. He's like, "Oh, you used an image from my client's site. You owe us $84." Well, I never answered him. And also, there's something called fair use, which we're going to talk about probably in a future class. So it's for educational purposes, so I was fine. But once again, don't rely on fair use. If you say, "Oh, well, I copied Mickey Mouse because, it's educational. I'm doing it for my education." Let's put it this way. If you do a video and you use Mickey Mouse in it and all of a sudden it goes viral, guess who's suing you back to the Stone Age? Disney. They don't care. They don't care if they even have a losing case. You're going to lose because you can't compete with their money. Okay? College level writing, all that we mean by this is, like I said, here. Let me just type this. Don't do that for a capital I. Don't use slang. Make sure you check your grammar. This is college level now, not junior high. We expect you to have a certain level of ability. If you have trouble with writing, which some people do, that's fine. We have a writing center here. It's completely free. It's very helpful. So we expect you to look over your stuff, check your grammar, things like that. Professionalism I talked about here. This is just a book and all that. Resonate. The reason we don't use resonate, because resonate causes changes. Very, very deep thoughts here. I like this, industry and art. Now, just in the chat box, do me a favor. Type in what your major is going to be. I like to see what we're doing here, because everyone is pretty much going into a very creative industry, and the only thing that's constant is change. So let's see what we got. Creative writing. Oh, that's very creative, because creative's in the name. Mobile development. Ooh, yeah, things change with you guys like every 10 minutes. So we got creative writing, mobile development, and game design. Oh my God, yeah. See, all of those things are very creative, and they change. Some change more than others, but you have to be ready for change. You can't just, like, for example, years ago I used to program in COBOL. Nobody uses COBOL anymore. If I wanted to, I could still program, but I'd have to learn a new language. If I decided not to, and I didn't, I just wanted to teach instead, I can't program anymore because nobody uses COBOL. So you have to be prepared to change. Okay, now what you're going to do this first week is you're going to deal with presentations. Have you ever been in a boring presentation and don't any of you go, "Oh yeah, this one right now"? You're supposed to go, "This is the best presentation ever. Woo!" Let's put it this way. Who wants an A? Is this the best presentation ever?
Best ever.
There you go. Okay, someone knows what to do. Have you guys ever been in a bad one? Think of that. I'll give you an example. What was that?
So I've given a few bad ones.
I'll tell you my story, and then you can tell me yours. I used to teach at a very small company called AT&T. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of them. And I was in charge. This is a long time ago. I was teaching people computers. And I was doing an internal system. I was teaching it. It was called the AFER system, so nobody's ever heard of it. Anyway, the computers froze, and I had to wait. So it was my very first presentation ever, and I started to panic. So what I did is I started telling jokes, and I started telling lawyer jokes. That's the only thing that came to my head. And this one woman in the front row wanted to kill me. It turns out I think her son was a lawyer, so she took huge offense to that. So if you have an experience either receiving or giving a presentation, let me hear, because I'm gonna bring some movies up. Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, when I was it started in elementary school, we had to do what's called 4-H speeches.
Oh yeah, I know 4-H.
And yeah, okay. Well, you do those all through middle school, and then high school you have like other presentations and stuff. Well, I think I was in like 7th grade, and I did one on Vietnam, the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And I knew the information like the back of my hand. I mean, I had the speech memorized, everything. I get up there, and I freeze. Like, I've got it right in front of me, and I just totally freeze. And that's like my whole thing. It's not about knowing the information or like I don't know. It's just weird. When I get in front of people, I'm dead on the water. Like, it sucks so bad.
Oh, I've been there. Oh my God, have I been there?
Stuttered all the way through it. Like, it was awful.
I know exactly. I've been there. Oh, that's a horrible thing. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Well, just there's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish there was something to do, but I didn't find that they found these videos. I got to well, the other video I found, but this video, you just got to watch this because it's called Every Presentation Ever, and some of the stuff in here is so true. Here, I'll play it. Can you guys see it and hear it? Okay. Guys, good. You can see this.
Quadruple checking notes as people file in.
I used to do that.
Getting the computer ready and asking everyone to take a seat.
I never did that.
Pretending to click something on the computer to cover up the fact that I don't know what to do with myself.
Yep.
Arriving just in time.
Wrapping up our conversation about a popular TV show we watched last night.
Disdain for popular TV show.
Mediocre icebreaker joke. That doesn't quite land.
I've done that. Now, if any of you go, yeah, you did it in this one, I'm gonna fail you all. You're supposed to go, no way, Andy, you're perfect. Okay, who won?
No way, man.
There. Catherine's the only one who's getting an A here. Come on, guys, you're supposed to butter me up. I'll give you A's. I fall for flattery, but yeah, I've done that.
Attempt to redeem myself by making fun of that guy.
Okay, I've never done that. I don't know if you've ever been in a presentation, but I can't think of any presentation where the speaker's ever made fun of somebody. The closest I ever came was at AT&T. They used to have these name cards on top of everyone's computer so you could tell the name. And one woman wrote, what did she write? It was like Good Woman Star. And I was going to make a comment saying how nice that was to write, that, you know, that's a really nice thing to write. You know, she feels very confident. I'm glad I didn't, because what it was is she was a Native American. That was her name. So I was like, oh my God, if I had said that, I would have been like brought up on human resource charges. So that's the closest I ever came. So I learned really quickly. I don't know why you'd make fun of somebody. That's kind of stupid. But never even comment on their name.
Laughing at that guy.
Laughing because he's laughing and I like him.
Not laughing, and now checking out for the rest of the session.
Title, dramatic pause of my presentation.
Question about how long this session will last.
Yeah, I got those all the time.
Annoyed, vague response.
Exaggerated eye roll.
No, I've never done that.
Poignant quote from unknown philosopher to kick off presentation in dramatic fashion. Juvenile slide transition to spice things up. Reading a long paragraph exactly as it appears on the PowerPoint slide.
Oh my God, I have never done this, but I know people who do. It is so annoying. Have you guys ever been in a presentation where the person's reading the slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never do that. At least I try not to. Okay, so now I'm not going to show you the rest of this, but here's another one. This is, I'm going to skip this ad in a second, but this is a thing that Microsoft put together as a promotional video for their internal people. This wasn't meant to be shown. Has anyone ever seen this one? It's called the Microsoft MS-DOS 5 promotion.
Yes.
You've seen it? I used to teach computers, so it's hilarious. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but what it is, I like this one because they're trying to be campy and quirky, but it doesn't work. It comes across as they're trying to be too cool. Okay, I'll play it for just a few minutes. Look at this great acting. I think this is like 91 this came out. Incredible acting. Just think, all these people are all Shakespearean actors, and this is what they're doing. Look at those computers, very high tech. What was that?
I said those computers, they're high tech right there.
Yeah, they are very high tech. I think they're boat anchors now. Oh, cool. Look how cool they are. These are cool people. Look at that acting. What are they, lizards? Their head has to go forward like that? I'd love to know what happened to this guy in life. Tim.
Welcome to the Microsoft MS-DOS 5 upgrade training. This is the first time MS-DOS has been available as an upgrade. It's new.
Okay, this is just painful at this point. And watch the acting. The acting here is incredible. Look at them. They're bouncing with it. Yeah. Woo! Okay, that was enough. So when you give a presentation, if you're going to go comedy like this, you got to be really careful because it could come across really funny as like in a campy sort of way. Like you're making fun of those old, PSAs from the 30s. Like, what was it? Reefer Madness was one. If you make fun of stuff like that, but if you don't pull it off, it's going to come across horribly like that one. Ugh. It's funny to watch now, but I can imagine how painful it was back then. And if anyone says, "You mean like now painful?" You're failing. Nobody's saying it? Yeah, you were thinking about it. I could tell you, like, should I tell them? Okay, this is just, they put together these quotes, but this picture is really cool. I don't know if you guys know about this. I think it's in India. These are very poor kids, and they wanted to learn. And this guy over here, on his own, made a school under an overpass. So these kids, they have no shoes or anything, but yet they come to school and want to learn. I think that's so cool. Okay, we did that. Okay, here's your audience members. Yes, apathetic. Usually they drool. It's very weird. I've had hostile audience members. I had to do an AT&T training with people who were getting fired at the end of the week, and they knew they were getting fired. That was a lot of fun. So you got to make sure you play to your audience. Now, a good thing to do, don't just figure out, it says, figure out ways to relate to them. Don't just go, okay, they're all men, so they love sports, things like that. You got to relate to them a little deeper. And I'll give you an example. What I used to do, oops, why does it do that? Stop that. Okay. I'm sorry, I hate Keynote. There we go. Do any of you guys have a PC right now? Are you working on a PC or are you working on an Apple?
PC.
I'm working on a PC.
Okay. For those I used to teach computers, and before I came down to Florida, I was teaching at a college, and the college that I taught at was historically an agricultural college. So none of those people wanted to learn computers. They wanted to go to classes like how to inseminate cows. And yes, they talked about that in class as if it was nothing. They're like, oh, did you get Bessie pregnant today? Yeah, I used this. I'm like, oh, God, it's lunchtime. Stop talking. But that's what they wanted to do. They're farmers. So I would always, this is my advice. If you're going to do an audience thing, is you give them a trick. You give them something that they're not going to get anywhere else and that they can brag to their friends about or trick their friends. What I used to do in DOS, there was a command called prompt. For you guys have a PC, you might have ever used this. The prompt command, in DOS, the prompt just looks like a C and a colon. That's all it is. It's just the computer's way of saying, okay, type something here, I'm ready. You can change the C colon to anything you want. So what I did is I showed people how to change it to say something like, severe system crash, press enter to try to recover. And I said, here's what you do. You go to your roommate's computer, you do these things, and then sit down and watch. And when the roommate comes back in, they're going to freak out. And then you come running over to them and say, I can fix this. You fix it. They're going to be so happy they're going to buy you dinner. And the kids loved it. They said they tried it on their roommates, and a bunch of them got dinner out of it. And then when their roommate took class, they're like, I'm going to kill my roommate for doing that to me. So I gave them that little trick, and it got their attention. So my advice when you do a presentation is you got to give them something that they could use quickly, easily, and something they can't get anywhere else. Okay, I don't know if I want to show the whole. We're not going to show the whole Challenger speech. By the way, does anyone actually remember Ronald Reagan, or do you just remember it from history class? This was in '86. If anyone says they weren't born yet in '86, I'm going to fail you because you're making me feel old.
I was born in '87.
Oh, you're failing now. Oh, you're killing me.
93.
Oh, you're really failing. Oh, you're killing me. Okay, just so you know, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Andy, you sound incredibly young. You must be 18. I get that all the time. I know. I was born in '66. So, yeah, I'm pretty old. I was in the fraternity, walked into the fraternity when the Challenger disaster happened. We were all watching it on the 19-inch color TV that we were so proud of. I'm surprised that TV even worked, what we used to do to that thing. But Yeah, what he did in the speech, I'm not going to bore you with the speech. He was a very good speaker. I actually voted for him once. He ruined the country, but he was the right president for the 80s. I got to say that. He spoke to each kind of group in the audience. You can't just speak to the audience. You have to address things that are important to them specifically. So when you give a presentation, try to make sure, if you can gauge your audience beforehand, to hit certain things that each group would say, aha, yes. We used to learn that in improv. It was called the aha moment. They said you don't have to be super funny up there, but what you have to do is you have to make it so that someone in the audience goes, oh, I know what they're doing. Aha. That's where you connect with them. So you got to give them their aha. Okay. Meeting the hero. I had nothing to do with this slide. It sounds like so. Yeah, meeting the hero. Ooh, the audience is the hero. It's so corny, but it's true. They're look how bored they look. Look at them here. They look pretty bored, actually. You need to make it interesting for them. You need to make sure they're the ones that you're playing to, not the vice versa. That's really all it is. So you want to make sure that you're hitting stuff they need and want. Now, if they're being forced to come, that's really tough to do. Okay, meeting the mentor. I'm the mentor, so I like this quote, though. I'm a Star Trek geek, I admit it. Your father was a captain for 12 minutes, saved 800 lives, do better. Gee, you're not putting too much pressure on me. So, the journey. I never read Dune. I saw the movie. It was horrible. Okay, so here's what, I don't know if you guys saw the movie. It was a horrible movie with Sting. Very weird. Okay, here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be creating a presentation. Now, give me a sec. I'm going to open up the assignment. What I like to do is I like to open up and go over the assignments so that you know what to do to get a really good grade. Oops. Okay, oops. Now you're all going to see my password. So, use it for good, not evil. Okay, see, my password is all circles. Oh, wrong password. See? All circles. So if you type all circles in, you got my password. Okay. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Okay. Come on. There we go. Oh, yeah, I have allergies today, so if you hear me sniffling, I can't get you sick. Okay, professionalism. Make sure you do your professionalism. Okay. Let's go over here. We did the intro. Okay. Let's go right to this assignment here. Now, my screen's a little different than yours, so I'm in the edit mode. Yours does not look like this. Okay, I'm going to bring up the rubric for both of those. That's the assignment. This one's an assignment. Now, the other one's a discussion board. Now, remember, the discussion board, if you don't get it in on time, I can't reopen it. Okay, discussion board. But look, this is when it ends, the 7th. There we go. Okay. Here we go. And one more. There we go. Okay, so let's look at the assignments. Here. Planning a presentation. Basically, what you're going to be doing is you're going to start working on a presentation. The goal is, we'll come down here. The goal, you don't have to worry about writing the whole thing perfectly. You want to make sure you hit these things, these key points. You want to make sure you have a distinct beginning, middle, and end. It can't just be a nebulous presentation. And this is actually a good thing to remember. STAR, something to always remember. I could tell you, in my class, I used to teach Excel also. And one of the things I did in Excel is I used to call something the pimple. You could always tell who took my class because they would always say something about the pimple. So they remembered that. I know you're probably like, what the hell is he talking about with a pimple? I could show you if you really want to. It's not that exciting. But you want to start mapping it out. You want to have everything ready. You can't really build a presentation just from scratch with nothing. You need to make sure you have a foundation. So read through your instructions. Make sure you read these well. And make sure you get everything laid out. You want to really lay it out and consider what you're going to need and things like that. Here's the rubric for it. If you do this, you meet all the requirements, and you thoroughly address things. Like, let's say you're going to do a presentation about the planet Jupiter, and one of your things says, I'm doing a presentation about Jupiter. Well, that's not really thorough. Yeah, okay, I get it. But if I want to be a real ball buster, I could say, oh, you mean Jupiter, Florida? Ha, ha, ha. No, I wouldn't do that, of course. But you want to make sure you address everything, and you do it, I'm going to do a presentation about the planet Jupiter, specifically its gravity. Something like that. Get a little more in-depth than normal. Content's precise, everything's detailed, it's not meandering around. And when you do a presentation, let's say your presentation is going to be, I'm going to teach people how to breathe. Well, most of us know how to do that. So that's kind of superficial stuff. Now, if you were going to say, no, I'm going to teach them how to breathe yoga, yoga style, that's a little different. And make sure, your stuff is related to what we've been doing. Make sure it follows this. That way we know it's related. Okay, now here. This is real simple. A lot of people make this harder than it is. Just answer the questions. And don't just answer them with like 1 or 2 words. Like, describe the level of comfort delivering a presentation, and your answer is uncomfortable. Like, why? Is your underwear bunching? Why is it uncomfortable? Give us a reason. Go into the details. Answer the questions, and remember to read about the RISE model. There's I think it's under the assignment one. There's it's under the discussion. There's a thing about RISE. Answer questions and contact other students using the RISE model. If you do that, you're going to get 100. Point blank. If you answer other students and you like, hey, good presentation, and that's all you write, then you're not really contributing to the community. You're kind of like down here. That's like very low points. Okay. So really, the thing to watch for in these assignments is to follow the instructions. A lot of people just don't read them. Okay, resistance, reward. I don't think we need to go into all that. Okay, here we go. So this is the key. When you're going to plan your presentation, who's your audience? Come up with a flow, a basic outline, what things you're going to need, what's the message, etc., etc. See? Beginning, middle, and end. What's the takeaway? This is key. What is the takeaway? What are they going to get from this? Okay, so look at that, right on schedule, 10:30. So we're pretty much done. I'm going to stop the recording now.